Hello. Okay. Welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Dark City, episode 11. I'm Doug. I'm going to be the storyteller for the evening, and I would like to introduce the cast.
I'm Angela, also known as Gangrel Kitty, and tonight I'll be playing Lillith.
Hi, I'm Ryan, otherwise known as Voice Ryleased, and I will be playing Herkermer Milton.
Hello, I'm Michael, and I'll be portraying Hannibal Wagner.
And I'm Xylus, and I'll be portraying Charlie.
Okay. So for our weekly shoutouts, once again, we're gonna say go over and stop by Vancouver by Night at twitch.tv, Vancouver by Night, and show them some love and support because they have supplied for us a wonderful streaming or list of streamers who are streaming Vampire the Masquerade live streams on Twitch. So today's shout out is going to go for a personal favorite of mine, just a little bit of fan service there. But Roll For It. They do Shadows of Silence on every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find them at twitch.tv/roll for it, and that's roll, the number 4, and it. So once again, go ahead and show them some love. Spreading love from us to the rest of the Vampire the Masquerade live streaming community. Yeah. We have a couple of announcements. So December 16th, we just wanted to remind everybody, December 16th, the sourcebook, the free sourcebook that World of Darkness is going to be releasing will be live. You could go to theworldofdarkness.com to download it. I'm not sure what you have to do. You probably have to have an account, but it's going to have the 3 new clans coming up. We're so excited about the new Ravnos and Salubri and Simitsi rules. So check that out. And then we also wanted to remind everybody that over the holiday weekends, we're going to be going on vacation. For those nights that we normally stream Blades in the Dark story on Friday, and this live stream on Sunday, we're going to be having content. We're aiming for doing some one-shots. We have some stuff lined up, although we don't want to say for certain because, we're going to be filming or trying to film those things and see what we can get done for you for the holiday break. And but you will certainly be able to come here and check us out. And we might even be in the chat with you, depending on what we're doing and how busy we are. But yeah, so please check us out. Please make sure to check us out. And then we will be returning after the new year for more Blades in the Dark story and Vampire the Masquerade. So last, we want to do our shameless plug. But for all those people who are supporting us, please thank you for supporting us. And if you are just coming to us for the first time or watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube. We are trying to hit 100 subscribers so we can get a custom URL. We're at 63 subscribers, so every stream matters. Every subscribe matters. Please, thank you so much. And if you like the content, please like and ding the bell. Also, you can see us on Facebook at Old School RPG Studios, our Facebook page. And while you're there, you can also join our Facebook group, OSRPG Streams. So thank you so much for all the love and support. And if you do end up supporting us in these ways, thank you so much. So, without any further ado, let's be vampires. The Masquerade. Less of a metaphor, and more of a fundamental reality in the world of darkness. While we've seen our characters deal with potential breaches and cover up with the Masquerade being broken, we have not explored the fundamental reality of what the Masquerade is. Vampires are driven by one source of sustenance: blood. You see human beings believing that they are the apex predator on the face of the planet would not stand to be preyed upon. And the source of blood, the richest source of blood, the most plentiful and nourishing to kindred who walk the streets of Dark City, comes from human beings. An instinct and a law that all obey. We start to see kindred fight over those food sources because they, more than anything else, fear the Masquerade being broken and humans acting upon their fears once again as they did in ancient times. And the predators would be preyed upon. Rejoin our story with Charlie. Earlier in the evening, you received a text, a return call from one Victor Ash's office. The text said, "A car will be waiting for you outside at precisely an arranged time earlier in the evening." You find yourself standing on the sidewalk of the park that stands outside of St. Peregrine's Community Hospital, waiting for your meeting. And ahead of you approaches Lillith. When you had returned to the hospital to try to find Charlie, who normally would be working at this point in time, you were directed outside. You see him standing outside, waiting, not sure why. And that is where we will begin, as Lillith approaches Charlie.
Hey, what you up to? I was looking for you. They told me you were out here.
Waiting for a ride.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go see people of my clan.
Want some company?
See... Sure.
Yikes. Okay.
Sorry, I'm still not used to all of these people, and I'd rather have someone I can trust nearby.
Fair enough.
What were you looking for me for, though?
About the negotiation with Krieg. I wanted to catch up with you about inventory purposes.
Yeah. Inventory is a little hard to stretch at the moment.
Yeah.
See, Problem is that the synthetic only gets us so far. It's a replacement that they use in the donor material. We
Gotcha.
take off the top, and that's what we are sustaining off of. But that amount is minimal. I need to figure out a way to take more of the real deal off the top and perfect the formula to allow more synthetic to be basically the replacement. But it needs to be cheaper. That's the problem. In a nutshell.
Can we sustain off synthetic?
No.
Oh.
I tried. It was horrible. It was a mess.
Wow. Have you seen...
I mean, if you don't mind feeling queasy for a day, and you could try the synthetic mixed with the real deal, but it's so diluted, you get so little from it.
Wow. What's the point then?
Well, because it functions as a replacement in humans.
Have you seen Herkermer or Hannibal?
Not lately.
Yeah, me neither.
I wonder what they're up to. How do you feel about the deal with Krieg?
I feel good.
Even knowing that by working with Krieg, the Red Queen will likely put a target on our backs, or at least make life as difficult as possible.
Well, we gotta do what we gotta do to survive, right?
That's true. While I don't exactly fancy the idea of the Red Queen being the person that we make all concessions for, it does put into mind the question of, is it worth it to cross this person for an alliance with Krieg? Because that's what we're doing.
Well, whose alliance is more stable?
That remains to be seen.
Because we know who Krieg works for, but we don't know who the Red Queen works for.
I actually wonder that myself. As dangerous as it might be, I did want to at least converse with the Red Queen.
About the Krieg deal?
No. The Krieg deal still isn't on, technically. We don't have the supplies to make it happen.
Yeah.
And until we deliver, Krieg's just waiting on us, essentially. So we still have time before a deal.
Could be even struck.
Right now, it's just an offer on the table.
Yeah.
But I personally feel like the Red Queen has a lot of issues. Some of those issues I can try to alleviate. Maybe if I'm able to do that, tensions will ease. Perhaps maybe even a little bit of security will be gained. Not entirely sure, but I don't know.
So what's
See,
the
I was
goal
always
of
this
this?
peacekeeper when I was alive, and it's hard to see things from that perspective now. I was always the one talking people out of fights, talking people down, calming down a situation. It's a habit that I'm having a harder time connecting with. But I still feel that it might benefit us.
What's your goal for this meeting?
I want to learn certain information about my clan, maybe even a little bit of the truth, if I can. Maybe their version of the truth. What happened between my sire and the Red Queen. I want to know who was involved. I want to talk to them. I want to know who got double-crossed, how. I want to know if people were in contact with hunters. And if they were in contact with hunters, why? I guess I'm doing a little bit of detective work trying to ease on that particular vein or nerve of suffering. As long as you guys are hanging around me and the Red Queen has this fetishized hatred towards me, you guys will also suffer for it.
I mean, we're vampires.
We were human. And
But
whatever being a vampire now means is it's not as if us being humans has changed. That's still a fact.
With that remark, you notice a long, slender limousine, black, pull up behind you. The tinted windows roll down, and you see a face that you have not seen since one of your first nights here on the east side of the river. Dark-skinned man with glasses. Mr. Allsun. And then the door opens. Please, step inside. Your friend is welcome as well.
And I'll motion for Lillith to get in the car.
Okay, she'll get in the car.
And then I will also step inside.
You step inside the long, black limousine into the back. Leather couches. Nice exterior. A small bar off to the side. With crystal glasses arranged. You notice sitting opposite of you is the tall, dark-skinned figure of Victor Ashe. Next to him is a slender, similarly tall, strikingly featured woman wearing a business sort of like a vest and skirt with a shimmering green shawl and black embroidered I just spaced on the word, the peacock feathers. She stares at you with inquisitive eyes and then glances away, fairly disinterested looking. She lights a cigarette. Mr. Charlie Allsun, I am so glad that we had the pleasure of meeting you in such circumstances that you took me up on my offer that we should meet. And your friend, I don't recall her name.
This is Lillith Hanlon.
Member of my coterie.
Ah, okay. I do remember you. And he reaches out and shakes your hand with a very, very firm grip. He gestures over at his companion. This is my companion, and a sort of advisor confidant, Celia. And he gestures to the driver and then presses a button. Take us around the block. And then the door closes, or, he gestures for you to close the door, and the car begins its momentum. Sorry to meet under such circumstances. I would have normally invited you to my office or haven, but, well, I find that I got the suspicion that these conversations will probably be of a sensitive nature, and I generally find that prying ears are less common in, moving vehicles, at least more difficult. You always have to be careful about who is listening, and always assume somebody is. So, why did you want to meet?
Well, firstly, to apologize for the gruffness of my demeanor for our first meeting. And secondly, to thank you for reaching out a hand during that particularly troublesome time to an estranged clanmate.
No, apologies are not necessary. I understand the brusqueness and how off-putting our fair Red Queen can be at times, and especially coming in during a punishment. Although it did not result in final death, it was not one of her more genial nights. But apology accepted.
She has a particular dislike for me based on my sire.
Yes, she does. I will be honest. This is me and your sire are not exactly on the best of terms anymore, as well. But there was once a time that I greatly, well, I still respect her, but me and her were confidants and allies. I would hope that her childer and I could be the same, and that, well, things in the past are things in the past. You're over here now, and you are clan, so it is my duty to look after one of such prestigious lineage as Helen Hargrave's child.
How would I go about currying favor with the Red Queen? More specifically, is it even important to curry favor with the Red Queen given her explosive nature?
she is a Brujah, and she is a bit more explosive, as you put it, than normal Brujah. But you curry favor by seeing to the interests that she is holding. You have to understand that, well, first of all, I wholeheartedly support Alice. And I would think that without our support, she would not be holding the position that she does. You see, in this part of the city, under Alice, there are different factions that have evolved since the revolt. Myself, Celia, and others, many others, represent the second largest constituency in the city. And we came about as a byproduct of many of the camarilla immigrating from the tower, growing distasteful or being appalled at the actions of Prince Charles Graves. You see, Alice did not ask to be put in her position. She was elected to be put in her position by those Anarchs that followed Virginia Mason. After the death of their leader, there was much disarray. We saw Prudent, as well as Nolan, one of the Anarch revolutionaries of the time, to support Alice, because she was not only a coterie mate, but a close confidant of Mason. People knew her, and she had the force and ability to rule effectively. But things have turned into...
So Mason was the leader of the Anarch movement
Yes.
prior?
Are you familiar with what a baron is?
I've heard the term. Is it akin to the Prince of the Camarilla?
No. It is an appellation given to Anarchs, formally given to Anarchs, by the Camarilla. You see, the Anarch movement is fairly old, a couple hundred years, and over time we have had a relationship with the Camarilla. You see, but not to dredge up old histories, but the Anarchs were sort of a compromise that the Camarilla made against those who did not wish to be ruled by their elders. We felt it natural at the time. I speak as we, as being a former member of the Camarilla myself. At the time, we thought it wise to appoint individuals that would lead them, the Anarchs, and we called them barons. However, the Camarilla is and was the world authority on kindred affairs. Since they have closed their doors, baron is no longer really an appropriate term, as they no longer accept anybody of any differing political affiliation. So, but at the time, Virginia Mason was the baron. She was appointed by the previous prince as more of just a gesture. But in reality, most Anarchs were not allowed. There was many prohibitive rules, and they were functionally exiles for the most part. When the old prince died, was destroyed, the new prince seized power, and he attempted...
Who was the old prince?
Dmitri Roth. He was a member of Clan Tremere. He, my dear Celia's clan. You see, after Charles ascended to what is, to princedom, or praxis as it's called, he attempted to reverse the previous harsh rules against the Anarchs. But the Anarchs of that time were very divided and used their newfound liberties to invoke violence. Their representative, Virginia Mason, attempted to apologize, attempted to soothe the peace. Charles Graves, however, came down on her very effectively. And with that,
What did Charles Graves do?
he invoked many laws that intruded upon clan territories as well as Anarchs. He revoked their territory that he had given them, and he demanded justice. If justice would not be brought, if the individuals who did not provoke violence against the camarilla were not brought to justice by Virginia Mason, then he would start effectively taking it out on Anarchs. This leads to many hostilities. And then,
As we know, Virginia Mason was ended by hunters, human hunters.
yes,
And as I have it, there was a rash during that time of hunters sweeping across both sides of the river.
yes, which is the prime principal reason why I chose to leave the camarilla. You see,
I take it the camarilla wasn't prepared to effectively deal with the problem as well as the Anarchs were.
well, rumor, as rumor is, all leads us to believe that the hunters were invoked by members of the camarilla. In fact, I believe that Charles Graves was the one who orchestrated delivering information to those who hunt us through your sire. You see, I used to be the Ventrue primogen, the leader of the Ventrue clan. When Prince Charles Graves grew dissatisfied with my lack of loyalty, as I was loyal to the previous prince, and he grew suspicious and paranoid. He arranged with his allies in our clan to have me depose as primogen. After the hunter attack, he is not Ventrue, but he appointed Helen through his proxies in our clan as a measure of reward. It was most shocking. You have to understand, Helen Hargrave was a dear friend of mine. We are as close to broodmates as you can be without being related. Directly, of course.
Would it shock you to know that he's essentially done the same thing by exiling me and removing her from that position?
I've heard of her dismissal. Charles Graves uses individuals and then casts them off. He is a man, unfortunately, stricken with the deepest and most negative aspects of his clan's curse. He is rooted in paranoia and sees visions where they should not be. He's deluded and bad for the eventual fate of both of our sides of the city. This is the reason why we support the Red Queen. We need a leader who is strong. And we need to, once we have managed to coalesce and align and purge those elements from our midst that would serve to hold the Anarch movement back, we can force a compromise, a dismissal of Charles Graves, and hopefully a reintegration of the city's Anarchs back into the protection and envelope of the tower. As well as make changes, of course. I am not against reforms.
Dismissal of Charles Graves. It sounds like you are saying that he needs to be deposed violently.
There is only one way to depose of a prince, and that is through violence. Lex talionis. There is
One
only
punishment?
There is only one punishment in our society. Death. It is an old adage, and of course, in these nights, not as fitting in all circumstances. But when it comes to those who rule us, this rule is inviolate. He cannot be allowed to exist. He will bring us all to destruction, especially if he has curried knowledge of our existence to hunters, or has protected those who have.
What information would my sire have passed off to the prince
I am not
that would have aided in the hunters' attack against Mason?
I suspect that he used her to arrange the affairs and did not do so directly. Princes are often watched as much as they watch others. And a aspiring primogen would have more social mobility to keep their whereabouts, activities clandestine.
Do you think that she was actively gaining him this intelligence, or do you think that it was more him using her own intelligence against her?
I am not sure. I would suspect that if there is one person who has the advantage, it would be Charles Graves, although that is not to mean that Helen Hargrave is a pushover. She is Ventrue.
I have a goal. Single goal so far. Outside of basic survival. Survival's not really a goal so much as a mode. But this goal is to eventually either see to it that justice is done for what happened to Virginia Mason, and clear my name by association to Helen Hargrave for those crimes, or to figure out who directly orchestrated the attack on Virginia Mason, and either clear my sire or myself, hopefully to smooth things over with the Red Queen.
I agree with these goals. If Helen Hargrave is innocent, then I, more than anyone else, would wish her innocence to be known. I do not wish a member of my clan, any member of my clan, to be shamed in such a manner. And those who have brought knowledge of hunters to, brought our knowledge of us to hunters. Well, there is only one punishment.
Could you think of anyone else who would stand to gain, particularly in Charles Graves' favor, by bringing such information to him?
There are many who would gain. It's not a willingness of gain.
Who would stand to gain, but who also would have the balls?
That is
Forgive the parlance.
It's not courage. It's stupidity. But who would be foolish enough and reckless enough? That is a question I have been trying to ask or find the answers to for more than a couple of years now. In the meantime, I understand that you have, well, your coterie has been settling in rather well. Rumors are abound. The Nosferatu speak for nights upon nights about new things, and you have them all up in a stir. Apparently, you have acquired individuals who will to cooperate with on your territory. And I hear rumors about Sabbat, although I can't believe them.
They were idiots. Schemers. People who'd heard stories and wanted to feel like the next big thing. We dealt with them and took them before the Queen.
Before you finish that sentence, you hear Celia speak directly, not to you, but to Lillith. What beliefs, what things? And she's looking at you with a penetrating stare.
I think she's talking to you, Lillith.
What beliefs? Well, I think the most important one that they kept saying is that they wanted to resurrect somebody named Castor. And I don't know if it's the same group or not. That's a group of Sabbat that we encountered. The particular one that we took to the Red Queen was...
She interrupts you. Enough. It's foolishness of Sabbat. She goes back to looking out the window. You want to give me an insight roll?
Sure. Intelligence or wits?
This would be wits, because it's very brief. You set the difficulty at 3 successes. Actually 4. She's pretty hard. She's got a pretty good poker face.
No, I only got 2.
Reminder, you can spend willpower. Or take damage for willpower to reroll. Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, so you notice nothing as you're getting a sense of anything. Yes, it's Sabbat. It's disturbing, but there's undoubtedly going to be remnants. Well, what do you intend to do in the short term? My dear Charlie. May I call you Charlie?
Yeah. It's my name. In the short term, I am working on increasing the efficiency of output in the hospital.
It's good. There is many over here have been afraid of hunters since the attacks, and have given a surprisingly amount of power into the blood traders, merchants, who run vitae to those who need them. It will be good to see open feeding areas once again, or at least more sustainable feeding. I see that I've seen your friend Lillith. Occupying a territory, one of the such territories that I had hoped to challenge and claim.
Yeah. Krieg's territory?
It is up for contestation currently, but yes, there was an agreement that was reached between me and Krieg and third party. I'm surprised to see you dwelling there.
I was turned while I lived there as a mortal. I don't know. I just lived there, man.
I will not brook violence against you, although Krieg may. I would caution you against your dealings with Krieg. Krieg represents one of the other factions, actually the more populated faction, you can call them that. We disparage them by calling them indulgents. They are groups of no more than a couple coteries that fight amongst each other and look out there for their own selfish interests. Although they have a network and a labyrinthian maze of deals and temporary alliances, enough to consolidate under if they were tried, which Krieg has been trying to do for quite some time, unsuccessfully, of course.
Why does the Red Queen detest Krieg so much? If you could boil it down to a single reason.
Because Krieg looks out for only himself. He is neither interested nor in cause, nor is he willing to support anybody else. Krieg is already existing in his ideal society as a caitiff for the uneducated as benefit, the clanless, those who do not share a blood lineage of one of the clans. He has no place in any society. And so he exists in a state that he wants to keep. He is interested in keeping everybody divided and looking out for themselves. He would wish to only consolidate so he could remove the Red Queen and then go back to his own pursuits. And to do that, however, would undoubtedly eliminate the stalemate that exists between us and the tower. For if we were divided, as Krieg would have us, then the tower would reclaim what is theirs by their perception. Krieg is ruthless. In another society, in any other time, I would probably call him, probably look to him as an ally. But, although tenuously at best. But he will not keep his word, even though he says he is honest, and you could always trust on him to perform what is best in his own interests and no one else's. He has no thought to loyalty, lineage, anything else that matters in our society, including the Masquerade. If there was one person who would be reckless enough to violate the Masquerade by giving us away to hunters, it would be Krieg. Although I do not think he did such thing. He did not have any power before the revolt. He was a nobody. I am coming to my stop, and I am a busy individual. I will leave you in Celia's presence until she arrives at where she was going, and then from there, please enjoy the limousine. The ghoul will see you back to wherever you want to go.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for indulging me this meeting, and I appreciate the answers that you've been able to provide me.
course. Should you need anything, please do not hesitate. Good evening. It's nice meeting you, Lillith Hanlon.
Nice meeting you.
And he gets out, leaving you alone with Celia as the car drives back to on the way back to the hospital.
I'll look over at Charlie, and then I'll look over at Celia.
I'm gonna pull a cell phone out and use the text option to Lillith to ask Lillith, kind of incognito, if we should ask her what she would value the library of the previous prince.
Do we want her to have that sort of knowledge? Like, are we giving it to her, or?
Can't do anything with it. It's Tremere shit.
Okay. I'll look over at Celia. Can we have a moment of your attention?
She's actually just staring right back at you. She's just like,
Okay.
not saying anything, just kind of really looks like she's actually observing, like, you know, taking you, not intently, but like, you know, just like.
We have a couple of questions.
I expected it.
So, I was told that about you and about your ability to possibly find out who a kindred sire would be.
This is something I do have knowledge in. Many come to us seeking our secrets.
Yeah, we're interested in something like that. And our second question is, you are aware of the former prince's library?
Yes. Who have you told this to? Who knows of its existence?
I'll look over at Charlie.
The Red Queen knows of its existence. Other than that, I wanted to wait until we could find someone of the former prince's clan to ascertain its importance.
She looks considering, thinking, glances out the window. And she looks back at you, Charlie. And then over at you, Lillith. Tell no one else. Show no one else.
I would like to add that these Sabbat, these little trifles that we dealt with, they were attempting to find something within.
That's when they started speaking about Castor.
You have stepped in something that is more powerful than you know. Did you find an urn?
I can't say that we did.
Very well. I will have to arrange time when I'm not observed. But I will look. Remove nothing from the site. And if you find a urn, a jar, with old writing, ancient writing, Under no circumstances will you disturb it.
Sounds fine to me.
Good evening. And
Thank you for your time.
she reaches over, grabs a little notepad and writes down. You may leave a message for me here. I do not use the devices myself personally. You shouldn't either. She opens it up, steps out. And the limousine then proceeds to drive you back to the hospital. Is there anything else before we move on? You guys are sitting there in the limousine alone. Is there anything you discuss in there or when you get out? As you are dropped
What do you
off at the
think,
same.
Lillith?
What do I think about what? About the books?
Everything. Do you think that it'll be better to work with Krieg, knowing so many are against him?
Well, Victor Ash said he doesn't keep his word.
Victor Ash said that Krieg would always act in his own best interests.
Right, but he also said he didn't keep his word.
Only if his word gets in the way of his well-being, his self-interests.
That's not a gamble I think we should take.
You're right. It would be taxing
Yeah.
to try to manipulate someone into seeing the benefit that we would be bringing them. This goal I have to settle this hatred between the Red Queen and my sire. That's a real goal. I don't really have anything else to be striving for at the moment. That would be the thing that, well, as much as it helps me, and it is a very self-serving goal, it would also help the Coterie.
That's true. Sometimes it's like that, though, right? We do something to help ourselves, but it ends up helping out a lot of other things.
Yeah. Now, I know your sire, for whatever purpose, isn't in the picture. And I have no idea what's going on between you and Krieg. But it sounds like we might need to find a way to manage this without him.
Yeah.
I'd like to gather the Coterie and go and talk to the Red Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go do that then.
We're going to shift over while you guys are having your meeting to Hannibal. You find yourself going back to the Coterie Haven, intent on, I'm assuming because last episode you said you wanted people to show up at the Thin Bloods that you had found. So you find yourself going to the Coterie Haven and arriving there, where you find Herkermer. Herkermer, you've spent the day with Mitch. His manifestation of his kindred nature has grown as he appears to take very light damage from sunlight. A burn earlier in the evening, and you've been at which point he went to sleep in torpor, and you woke up in the evening, and you've been basically sitting there discussing the nature of being a thin blood and sort of things. And that's the conversation that you walk into, Hannibal, as you arrive at the Coterie Haven.
All right, now, Mitch, the thing you got to make sure you understand is the sun in you really is bad. You burned, so no sun for you.
This is fucked, man.
Yeah, you're telling me. But hey, who knows? Maybe when you get your situation figured out, I can show you what I do. And maybe you got the talent for it. Because believe me, there are perks that come with being what we are.
Okay.
Hey, first and foremost, I think we're immortal.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, like I ain't for sure yet, because I've only been doing this for a little while. But you know, if anything ties over from what it is to be a full vampire, you know, we could live forever possibly. Oh, hey Hannibal, what's up?
Are you ready to go?
Well, I can be. You
Grab your
good, Mitch?
tools.
I guess I'll stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I'm gonna watch some fucking TV, dude. You guys got TV? I mean, you can't eat
Yeah.
food, really, so I can't hold it down, so...
It's in the common room.
Alright. I could spend the rest of my life, or existence, binge-watching TV shows. Awesome.
Yes, you can.
Think I'll
Really
get,
get to know them.
I think I'll get a start on watching Doctor Who. I've always been a completionist, you know? Can't, Doctor Who's 50 years of episodes or something like that. Yeah.
Well, now you can watch them.
Sure. He walks off. He definitely seems very bummed, depressed even. Very unresponsive. As he wanders off, kind of resigned, and you hear the TV flicker on. And you're left to your privacy.
So, where are we going?
What we talked about the other night.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Do you need to bring anything? Do you have anything?
Unless you're willing to wait an hour for me to make up a batch.
I would prefer you be capable should the situation call for it. I was told these individuals might be hostile, so I can wait an hour.
All
That's
right,
fine.
well, if you give me an hour. So I will begin the process of cooking up a vial of Far Reach.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a rouse check.
I succeed.
Okay. And yeah. So you I believe you also have to make a alchemy test. Let me look. Or no, I think it's only the alchemy test when you activate it. Look at while you're cooking, you obviously are able to interact because it's like, you know, talking when you're cooking food and stuff like that. So I'll
Right.
go ahead and look that up while you guys continue interacting.
Michael
I
had something.
wanted to mention something to Doug.
Sure.
While Herkermer is off cooking, Hannibal is going to walk into the common room and flip the TV to like the Discovery Channel, and then just sit down and look at Mitch and be like, "Shark Week."
Shark Week?
You never watched Shark Week?
No, dude. I watch what real people watch: reality shows and science fiction.
Well, think about this. This is like a reality show about actual animals, I guess. Sharks, dude. Just watch. It's awesome.
Okay. All right, fine, dude. You hear a buzzing at the door.
Hannibal will go
after-
check it.
After
'Cause
a moment, of course, you know, you're sitting there
Sure,
watching
yeah.
it, and then you hear like a, you know, like whatever your buzzer serves as your buzzer.
Yeah.
You know.
Presuming that Herkimer is busy cooking, Hannibal will go
Yeah.
check the door or whatever.
You open the door. You see Deacon. Hey. Just dropping by. We didn't have a whole lot of time to talk the other night. Can I come in?
Sure. Are you bored or something?
Well, no, I just didn't really feel comfortable talking. When we were out the other night.
Oh wait, you want to like talk privately or something, or?
No, I had some questions for you guys. I'm a little concerned actually. Is Lillith here?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I haven't seen her at least.
Okay, weird.
Do you want to watch some TV? Or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We'll sit down and watch. Hey, what's up, guy? He's like, hey, dude.
This is Deacon Mitch. Mitch was forcibly embraced by an individual known as Desmond, we believe. So he's
fuck.
still sort of getting his bearings, as it would be.
Welcome to the suck, bro. Mitch is like, what kind of shit is? Welcome to the suck. It kind of like just goes back. It's like, whatever. I'm gonna watch this fucking Shark Week. Okay. And then Deacon sits down. And he's like, hey, I agree. So I have a couple questions for you guys, or at least you or somebody. Why did we go to Krieg's the other night?
I have no clue, honestly.
Like,
I think they were trying to cut a deal with Krieg or something. That's if you notice, that's why I didn't participate, was because I'm not interested in cutting some sort of deal with Krieg.
Like Charlie was wanting to cut a deal, or like
seems like Charlie is cutting a deal with everyone these days.
Why is Lillith involved? I mean, I know you guys are a coterie. Was she there as like muscle or something like that? Like she like no karate or something I don't know about?
I think Lillith is sort of finding her path, and she doesn't know what that path is. So the only way to learn who can be trusted and who can't is, I guess, by talking to them, perhaps, or being there, seeing how things go.
Krieg's the last person you want to fucking talk to.
I've been told that.
That dude will fucking stab you in the back over 2 cents. Like, he's... Like, you hear about cutthroat motherfuckers. He's one of those cutthroat motherfuckers. Oh, man. What did you say anything to her? I mean, you're not obviously not for this. I mean, what did you say to her?
We all kind of went our separate ways after.
Well, why didn't you say anything? I mean, aren't you guys like coterie mates or something? Like, don't you guys have a thing?
Hannibal will get up and direct Deacon to follow him like into a back room or something, like some other space, so they're
Yeah.
not talking around Mitch.
Oh, he's like, okay, you get that. And like, Mitch is just like, Pawn Stars. There you go. It's like Deacon's.
So once they're in the back room,
Mhm.
yeah.
Deacon's like, what's going on, dude?
Repeat your question again. I had it.
What didn't you say? Why didn't you say something to Lillith about if you're obviously wise to Krieg?
Well, let's just say that Lilith is not very happy with me right now. And we still haven't really resolved that. And I don't know when that's going to be resolved, or if that's going to be resolved.
Why is she not happy? Like what?
Well, a person who works for Charlie and who is a friend of hers was attacked by a guy named Desmond, we think. And he literally bashed her skull in, and she was going to die. And as I thought about it, I was like, the only way to probably save her is to make her a ghoul. And as I was thinking about it, I didn't know if Charlie would be willing to put his coworker in that position or his employee in that position. And I didn't think that Lilith would like forcing someone, basically, because what she knows the bond to be is sort of a master servant thing, which it can be. If it gets too intense.
Yeah.
I mean, you're aware of that, I presume, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I, in a moment of, I won't say it was my proudest moment, and the reasons that I chose to do it, what was sort of the straw on the camel's back, as it were, I made her a ghoul, and I fed her my blood.
Gotcha.
I haven't been back. I haven't been around her. I haven't fed her any more blood or anything. But
Sure. Okay. I see. I think I see what's going on now. Okay. And she's still on it, right? Well, it's
What do you mean?
it's well, she's still angry about it. You think she did like, or she?
Yeah, I
hasn't?
think so. She said some stuff, let's just say. She said some stuff that, although I understand the perspective, at the same time, it's like, she's sort of a hypocrite.
Well, I don't.
And she's new and inexperienced, and that makes sense. And I don't want to further confuse her, right? She's sort of in a delicate place and has said some things that resound with how I've felt before. And
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. You know what? Well, it's good to know. Yeah.
Anyways, though, I've just been giving her space. That's why I didn't talk
Yeah.
about it.
All right. Yeah. It makes
I give her
sense.
some space, and so yeah, when they talked about going to Krieg, that's why I didn't ask about it. That's why I didn't question it.
Well,
I just sort of followed along just in case things went wrong.
okay. Well, yeah. Interesting. I was just wondering, I mean, I don't want you guys to get involved in something that where somebody. I mean, it's like I'm not saying it. I haven't really been able to have autonomy.
Sure.
And you guys are pretty cool, and Sylvia seems to not be breathing down my neck or telling me what to do for the first time. So I imagine she's pretty cool. And I just want to keep this going, and you guys are weird. And I'm worried about Lilith. And
I mean, maybe she'll talk to you.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
She could probably use a friend right now, one that doesn't really have ulterior motives or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. Dude's watching reality shows. I was much more a fan of Shark Week.
Right?
It's fucking Shark Week.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's fucking awesome. I'm just gotta, yeah, all right.
Actually, could you do me a favor for a bit?
Yeah.
Me and Herkermer have to run on this sort of thing to check into a problem. Could you just chill here? I mean, you don't have to chill with Mitch, but could you just chill here and make sure Mitch doesn't like run off and fuck something up?
Yeah, he looks like he's kind of like, how's he taking it?
Not well. And I've sort of a fear that he's just gonna split at any moment.
Yeah, sure.
And and that could be like a Masquerade breach or something. I'll owe you one. How about that?
No problem. If he starts playing like, music by the Smiths, though, I'm gonna be out. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. I have lines.
Well, I mean, you can tune it out or whatever. I'm not saying that you have to like hang out with the guy. I'm just saying chill here and make sure he doesn't take off.
Dude, I'm a Toreador. Smiths are like our kryptonite. Just saying.
I mean, just put on some. I have some headphones you could put on for shooting. If it gets that bad.
Sure.
And we'll go get his gun range headphones. give them to Deacon.
Okay, so an hour passes. You finish.
Sure.
I neglected to do hunger rolls at the beginning of the night for everybody. So let's go ahead and do that now, and then get our feeding rolls out of the way before we move into a situation where we might matter. So first, beginning with Lillith.
I gain 1.
Okay, do you wish to do feeding?
Yes.
Okay, so make your roll for the feeding, difficulty 3, as for the Shas. You are using medicine and intelligence, because you were feeding off of blood bags and things like that. Herkermer.
I succeed.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're still at 3. Okay, you succeed. You got 3 successes, and for every success you get after that, you can...
I only got 3.
So you managed to slake 1. You're down to 3. Herkermer succeeds, so he does not go up hunger. Do you wish to use your circulatory system to slake any hunger?
I was actually going to use herd.
Okay, and go ahead and make a manipulation plus streetwise.
Substituting hunger dice, or
yes.
Bestial failure.
Bestial failure. So you got no successes, and you got 1s on your red dice.
Yep.
Okay, we will come back to you.
I got A1 on a red dice, and no successes.
We will come back to you. Charlie.
I succeed.
Okay. So you do not go up hunger, and do you wish to feed for the evening?
Yeah, I'm still at 2, so I'd like to feed and bring that down.
Okay, so you wish to use your herd, or do you wish to hunt?
Herd.
Okay, so that will be manipulation plus, I believe with you, your herd is finance. Because it's blood donations. It's pretty cool, actually. Because you can finance your feeding. And then Hannibal, while you're sorting that out, Hannibal?
I failed, and I go up to hunger 4, and I will try to feed once again, probably on the remnants of the.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, without a roll, you can slake 1 hunger, but you will no longer have access to that right? Because
Yeah, basically, I'm finishing off the last of the pigs in a sense.
Yeah,
that's fair. Okay, yeah, I'll slake one hunger and no longer have access to that. Yeah.
Normally for you, because you're feeding off of animals and things like that, you would have to you roll your you can roll animal can or survival, because you're looking for animals, or unless you're not looking for animals, and then a success at 3 successes will a successful test at 3 successes will you'll slake 1 hunger, and then every 2 successes in margin of victory, so in excess, you'll slake an additional instead of 1. That's the way we'll work that from going forward. Okay, so you and Herkermer decide to hop up. Herkermer, yeah, the bestial failure. You and Herkermer hop up to get into your vehicle. We'll say that Herkermer decides that he's hungry. On his way to the thing, and decides to stop by his herd. Now, you don't have fangs.
I don't.
So what do you convince them to?
I have convinced them that I have gotten a job back in the medical field.
Okay.
And I am taking donations in, or getting their blood tested for stuff, just to make sure they're healthy. I want to keep them safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do want to do that. I would like to actually test their blood to make sure that it's safe and all that as well. But it's just a convenient supply.
Refresh my memory on what happens with compulsions. So go ahead and give me a die roll, 1d10, please. You still managed to slake the hunger, by the way. It's just...
Okay. I rolled a 6 on a d10.
You rolled a 6 on a d10. Okay, so it's a harm. So you basically you're going to feed, and you put everything in. And as soon as you see the sanguine substance, the hunger surprises you, as you don't normally feel the hunger quite as acutely as full-blooded vampires. You find yourself basically like ripping the IV out and then like trying to bite them, right, very viciously. It's not a person in Water Street necessarily. It's one because there's a lot of houseless people who come in and out of Water Street. It's kind of like a community houseless shelter, self-run houseless shelter. That makes some sense. So, you're not biting anybody necessarily, or you deeply care about, but you end up biting, and they're like, "Hey man, what the hell?" Right? And you still manage to slake a hunger. But for the time being, the controversy of Herkermer biting somebody will persist, and you will lose access to your herd until I say otherwise. Okay. Yeah.
That being said, can it be one of the residents? Can it be of the residents?
Since you got no.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you go on your way down to yes.
Do I need to make a roll for making the thing of far reach?
You already did. You make 1 rouse. I did not look that up. I don't think you do, but maybe you do.
I don't.
Give me 1 moment.
I recall there being some kind of roll. I just don't remember what it is exactly.
Symbol alchemy, and there's a new rule set, so still very much a new rule set. distill. Okay, you roll distillation upon consumption, not production.
Okay.
So that's the reason why. Okay, cool. So your distilling roll. First dot. Okay, that's the normal roll that you see in the thing is the distillation roll.
Okay.
Okay, so you had crafted your far reach, as you said.
Far reach.
Okay, and you proceed on to the warehouse, which is located down by the Pure District. We're gonna go ahead and move to our overlay. Boom, magic. We're doing the maps again. So you drive up. It's basically a small 1.5 story warehouse with a single large door, which is not appearing here. I did not appear, so it's. Well, let me. Which is appear. There's a door, actually a large door here. I forgot to put on the first layer. Like garage door. And you see basically one single window, a door. This is a back door emergency exit. There's a street here. The next lot over is just basically ruins of an old building that got demolished a long time ago. And so there's like grass and turf and everything like that. There's one strong light right here. The street light is kind of knocked out. This is existing in the Pure District. So the same stretch of area that is basically mostly just like, vacated, condemned buildings, old warehouses that have been abandoned. Do you think of like areas like industrial Detroit, where you have these large sections of city that were once devoted to manufacturing? Something similar to that, but only on a waterfront, like some more warehouses, Pure District, that kind of stuff. There's the street is pretty empty, as this is a pretty desolate part of town. There are one or two people walking down the street, mostly together, but no big groups, no large amounts of people. Most of the businesses that do exist have gates over them with bars. Things like pawn shops, liquor stores, that kind of stuff is all closed. You see basically this sort of building. As you arrive, you drive, I'm assuming you probably drive past it and then figure out where you want to go. This is all street, by the way. Well, this is an alley.
So yeah, we'll drive past and then, find a spot a ways down, sit there for a few minutes, just make sure there's nothing weird going on. And then I'll look over at Herkermer. And you're a pretty friendly guy. You're also Duskborn, so why don't you do the talking? And if they try anything, obviously I'll back you up. I mean, if they say anything or I wonder anything, I'll mention it, but otherwise, I think that they're going to be more peaceful if it's coming from you.
All right.
'Cause from what I was told, they tend to not like full-bloods or whatever term you want to use.
Right. And please help me. My memory is shoddy. What exactly are we trying to get them to do again?
These are the people that Carlos sent me on the trail of.
Right.
Carlo, sorry, not Carlos. Carlo.
Right.
They were the other people involved in the blood trade and the mixing of the batches. So they might be potentially involved in the whole thing, with Desmond feeding the blood and the burning and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
These guys may have been involved in that. They were also involved with, like I had said, making batches for Carlo. So
Right.
that's basically what we're trying to suss out was, were they involved in that? Were they involved in the Betty thing? How tight were they with Desmond? All that sort of stuff, right?
Right. So I'm gonna get out of the car and
Okay.
walk up to one of the main doors.
Okay.
Big garage door, but like one of the side doors.
Yeah, this is there's like a small like an office door. Oh, sorry, office door right here. And then the garage door. There is a garage door. Actually, I could probably make one right now. Shapes. I'm gonna destroy something because I'm messing with stuff. Watch. Shape. Garage door. Gonna look weird later. There you go. So but yeah, this door right here is like basically your front office door, and then this is like obviously where a truck would drive up. This is like a back alley sort of thing, and this is a dumpster back. So, you walk up to the front door.
I walk up to the front door.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
So you walk up to this door. It's basically a normal office door. The window, what would be served as like the normal like window where the stencil of the business name would be or whatever, has basically black plastic bag taped over it. And you go to knock on it, and after knocking on it, there's you hear a "What do you want?" come from a camera. And a speaker next to a camera, like a CCTV camera, staring down at you.
Looking up at the camera, Herkermer will show the back of his hand. I came to make some friends.
How close are you to the within the field of view of the camera, Hannibal?
I was going to give Herkermer some space, and then once he's invited in, like, approach, basically.
Sure.
Just because, if they start attacking him or something, like, I'd rather, like, have cover, that sort of thing, so that he can run. I would, like, cover fire for him or something, right?
And then door opens, slightly cracked. And you see a face, pale face individual with sort of shaved, close shaved hair. You hear some music coming from the inside, like a like rock music or something like that, right? And he's got like tattoos. You do notice that he does have like the burn right on his hand as well, and he's like, "Who are you?"
Name's Herkermer Milton, at your service.
Herkermer Milton?
Yeah. You know the name?
Who you hang with, Herkermer Milton?
I hang with several people. You'd probably know the one by the name of Desmond.
You know Desmond?
Yeah. Intimately.
What brings you here?
I'm trying to get into what Desmond was in. And he's a little secretive about it, so I'm making my own way.
Gotcha. Who's your friend?
His name's Hannibal. He's cool.
Come on in.
All right.
He opens the door. Behind him, you see 3 other individuals. As the door comes up, you see 3 other individuals standing in the center of these large tables that are situated in the center of the room with beakers and all kinds of equipment. You think of basically something similar out of Breaking Bad or those kind of shows where it looks like a big, large lab, like that might be used for drugs or any other sort of like chemicals. This right here is basically the upper half. So it's a story and a half, right? So the half story is basically this room, this little office room area. You see office windows. It's off the floor, so it's held up by like beams. And underneath the beams, underneath here, there's like stacks of stacks of supplies and things like that. Nothing you can really get into. These are the stair areas, little lines, my bad artwork there, that lead up into the what looks like an office area of some sort. You see the big large double doors here, which are still there. The three other individuals, two of them are one of them has a pistol and he's just kind of holding it, and the other one has a bat. And the third guy is sitting, like standing behind the table, like, kind of like peering through the stuff. Guy opens the door, right? Gestures you both in. He's like, "I'm Leon."
Good to meet you, Leon.
So where's Desmond these days? Because you said you worked with him.
Currently, he is indisposed.
Gotcha.
He's doing something for somebody right now.
Gotcha. Well, does he still run?
As far as I know, he does.
Gotcha.
And I just kind of wanted to see what you had going on here and see if I could help, maybe lend a hand. Get in on the ground floor, see what's going on here.
We're just, mostly just cooking.
As I look around, are they doing thin blood alchemy here, or are they just doing regular chemistry looking stuff?
There's a fair amount in here that looks like it might be used for thin blood alchemy. Although you're not sure, because like obviously your advancement in the practice is not as probably skilled as what's going on here. But yeah, there's a lot of odd ends and odd objects placed into you see a clear cylindrical vase that has fruit pebbles, and it has like what looks like really mashed up fruit pebbles being cooked in some sort of red substance, right? Just like random odds and ends that they normally associate with thin blood alchemy. You have
Can I smell what's going on here and see if any?
You can smell vitae. There's a strong of multiple different types of resonances along this table right here. There's several large containers of vitae, as they're kind of seeming like they're being kept warm, and being fed and flowing so they don't coagulate. The blood doesn't thicken. But you could smell, certainly. And it's being, fed into jars and then hermetically sealed. It's like, we were just running stuff.
Yeah, I was more asking if I smelled the same stuff that I smelled when Desmond came over to when I was at Water Street and got me high.
No.
Okay.
So Desmond sent you.
Well, he didn't send me. You see, I'm trying to find out more about what he had going on, because I'm a decent friend of his. Or, well, yeah, decent friend. And I'm really trying to figure out what's going on so I can help him out.
Give me a subterfuge.
Okay. And what?
Manipulation? Or are you basically just trying to...
I'm trying to get them to show me around and basically, start walking around, being like, "Hey, what's this for? What's this for?"
Are you just projecting a innocent atmosphere, or are you trying to basically dodge his questions and enough to satisfy him? Are you using skill, or are you using or a guile or a dexterity or finesse? Are you using a finesse approach, or are you using a blunt force? Like, you should trust me.
It's more you should trust me.
Okay, so use charisma plus subterfuge. Yeah, subterfuge.
I got 2 successes.
Dude, like, I don't know who you are. But even if Desmond didn't rip us off, hadn't ripped us off, I don't think I would trust you anyway.
Wait, Desmond ripped you off?
He looks at the others, and the others are like, "What the fuck did you tell him that for?" Right? And he looks back. He's like, "All right."
Well, see, that makes it a whole lot other thing. See, I was trying to come in here and try and talk my way into learning about some shit, but I don't like him anyway. He and I have had words. We fought.
Okay. So you were gonna come in here and try to lie your way in here?
Like I said, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And that was it. And I figured that would be a good end. Turns out I was wrong. I sincerely apologize for that.
Who's your friend?
This is Hannibal.
Because he's been quiet.
He's quiet.
I would suggest that you talk to my friend. He's the nice approach.
All right,
And
dude.
quiet.
Look, we're just doing business. That's all we're doing.
And I'm not trying to get in the way of that. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here because apparently Desmond, he tampered with a doll and that led to a breach.
Talking about Grayson.
Yeah. So I'm following leads down to try and figure out what happened, who made it, how it was made, where it was made, whatever it got into Betty's system.
Well, it wasn't made here, but we came up with the idea.
All right.
That
So
makes
what was
sense?
Yeah.
It was just a failure. We were just trying to basically put a little spike. Carlo wanted us to amp up the dolls. And we came up with something, but I guess it just works a little bit too well. Amps them up so hard that they end up setting themselves on fire.
Yeah, apparently.
I thought it was funny, honestly, but
it's not.
No, it wasn't. And that's the reason why, if you know where Desmond is, yeah, you need to, like, I would be more than willing to, maybe you should tell me and I can be a little bit more forthcoming.
I don't have him at the moment.
Hannibal will reach out and put his hand on Herkermer's shoulder.
Oh, Herkermer.
and
Okay.
say, sometimes it's better to be honest. We torpored Desmond and then gave him to the Red Queen. He's her prisoner now. He violated our territory. And he caused the violation of another kindred to break the Masquerade. So we're trying to get what's due to us.
Gotcha.
And anybody that gets in the way of that, anybody that had any part in it, is going to pay similarly. So we're just trying to clear people's names. Herkermer is a Duskborn like you, and so we chose to try and be nice. So please, let's be honest with each other. And then Hannibal will take his hand off of Herkermer's shoulder, and once again, go back to being quiet so that Herkermer can speak.
Look, man, you can come in here and threaten me all you want, but I don't know shit. We made a fucking thing. Desmond fucking took it. Right? And now Carlo's all pissed off at us because he was wondering what the fuck happened. We made it at his fucking orders. He knew what was going on. And then Desmond goes and spikes a doll, and now it's our fucking fault? You can... Like... if you already torpored Desmond and you got what's due to you, that's fine. We're just running an operation here. We clean blood and make sure that it gets to where it needs to go. And sometimes we have dolls upstairs that, you know, that come hard if they get, you know, out of a bad fucking relationship, or they're in a, you know, fucking place where they need to go. We don't fucking blood bond anybody, and we don't fucking, you know, hold anybody hostage. We're just doing, that's what you people do. Okay, so if Desmond went and pissed on your fucking turf and upset why your fucking, you know, thick blood fucking rules or whatever, that's fine. But he betrayed us too. So, I mean, if you gave him to the Red Queen, he's fucking done for. There's no way, she's not going to give us justice, so I guess it is what it is. So is there anything else you want?
Desmond deserved his fate because he tried to attack my friend here. He tried to kill my friend.
Yeah, it sounds like it. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Carlo thinks that you had something to do with Desmond's work. It's only a matter of time before other people also think you had something to do with it. I don't have an issue with Duskborn. Obviously, a member of my coterie is a Duskborn.
We had shit to do with it, man. Like I said, we came up with the fucking Carlo came to us and said that he wanted a better product. And that we, because of our special talents, right, should come up with something. So we did. But the problem is that thing that we came up with also happened to fucking kill Kindred. When you use it, depending on the resonance, it will amp you up. It'll make you, you know, it'll knock you out into like a you know, like good chill vibes. You won't be able to do much for a little while, but like, or it will like amp you up. Like you'll feel like you're 20 foot tall and fucking bulletproof. But no matter what, you end up burning up. That was something that we didn't anticipate. We didn't design that. Desmond took that ritual. I don't know what he did with it, but if it was in Carlo's fucking ghoul, I'd be looking at Carlo. I'm just saying. It's kind of convenient that he's getting rid of the people that created, the only other people that would know about how to create said thing. I'm just saying.
You think he's pointing fingers at you because he wants you to get killed?
I think he's cleaning house because he has a fucking product. Can you imagine what happens if you fucking put this into your fucking enemy's fucking blood supply? What happens if you dope up every single fucking herd, every single member of the tower's herd with this shit? Boom. It's like a fucking candle.
And he make that himself?
No, he would need he would probably need a thin blood. As far as I know, we're the only ones who possess the ability. Not very many of us do either.
So what you're saying is that if he wanted to do that, you would have to do it for him.
Yeah, I ain't about getting people killed though.
How do you feel about moving?
Like moving here?
To a different part of town.
Why?
Because if you move to a part of town that we controlled, we could offer you protection.
Gotcha.
And then if Carlo comes looking for you, trying to kill you, then he violates our territory. I mean, it's a piece of paper that gives you some sort of shield, but nonetheless, if we take it to the Red Queen, should he try something?
Sure, man. I mean, I don't give a fuck.
It's up to you, though, Herkermer.
You gonna make anything more like that?
Dude, we only did it because fucking Carlo wanted. He was like, he treated us like his special little wizards in the fucking corner. I was fine with just fucking moving shit along, man. Because that's fucking what we did. It's the only seems to be the only role that we could fit here without getting fucking waxed by somebody.
It helps.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't mind taking them on.
We'll find a place where you guys can set up in our territory and call it your home. The only thing that we ask is you help with our monthly tithe to the Red Queen. Something real small, nothing too big. Otherwise, as long as you don't break any of the rules, you're your own people. And like I said, if Carlo or anyone comes looking for you, they have to go through us first.
Sure. Sounds like a good deal to me.
In exchange, you will never give that recipe to anyone.
I know, I wouldn't. Nope. Good enough for me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind it if a couple full bloods just fucking blow themselves up, but, you know, that caused problems on us for obvious reasons.
Yeah. As long as you keep things cool, you don't break the rules. You're your own people, man. We're not here to tell you what to do. Anyways, I'll give you guys some time alone, Hannibal says, and then he turns to walk out.
Sure.
All right. Hey, you ought to let me look through your stuff here because I only have a little bit of knowledge. I only know a little bit.
Do you want us to teach you?
Well, that would be nice. You know, you don't have to at all. And I know it's a secret thing that y'all might not want to share. But whatever you have that you are willing to share, I'm willing to learn.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right. And, well, let's see.
Give him your number.
Thank you, Hannibal. And we'll give Leon burner information. Yeah. Do you have a number I can reach you at?
No, well, hold on. Any texts you?
All right. Yeah, we'll find you a spot, and then I'll send word.
Hey, Carlos sent you guys here to fucking deal with us.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
All right. So more than likely, it should be in a little while. Is it okay if I send you messages during the day?
Some of us, like,
Will any be awake?
none of us are awake.
Okay.
I'll give you the number, Johnny's number, and I'll tell him. And he texts you. He's like, that's Johnny's number. He's awake during the daytime. He's not here right now. I'll let him know that you guys showed up. He's the other guy. He's off. He's off running a ghoul. Or a doll. Sorry. Somebody. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Stay safe now.
Mm-hmm.
Before Hannibal completely walked out, having probably heard the comment, he'll just sort of make mention as he continues walking away. He'll be like, yeah, we don't work for Carlo. In response to the Carlo sent you thing, right?
Mm-hmm. He just kind of like gives you a look that says like that fucking matters, you know, like.
don't actually work for Carlo, but he asked.
Okay, I think well, I think we're getting overdue for a break here. As you guys get back in your car and you leave, where we will return to them in the car, returning to the Coterie Haven, where I'm assuming you have already texted the rest of the Coterie, Hannibal, or actually Herkermer will probably have an easier time texting. Is there anything specific that you would text them with? Like, per se, like meeting, or is it just like a text like, hey, we need to meet, or
meet at HQ in however long it's going to take us to get from there. Just give a set amount of time.
Okay. And so you find yourself driving in the car after you text and receiving the response text from Charlie, I'm assuming. So,
yeah, it'll say just catching up with Lillith real quick. We'll be there shortly.
So, Hannibal and Herkermer, you find yourselves driving, and that's where we'll come in.
How do you feel that went?
Better than expected. I was half anticipating some kind of fight.
Sure. There was a moment when they sort of caught you in your bluff. And you froze up. I don't feel like I was trying to dictate your terms to them.
Well, I'm not a very skilled liar.
I think lying or telling the truth is relative, right? I guess it would be based on the information you're telling or who you're telling it to. I think in that instance, telling them everything going on with Carlo, etc., wasn't really private information that they couldn't have probably heard about.
Fair enough.
What is, I guess just don't know how to bring it up, but, like, how are you after the whole Desmond thing?
I feel a lot of ways about that.
Sure.
First and foremost, violated
By Desmond?
by Desmond, yeah. And more violated for the youngins. Because he pretended to be me and he fucked their life up.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wanted to say something about that, but hadn't really had the moment. I was following you for several nights, trying to figure out where Desmond was. I honestly thought you were involved. And it took you getting abducted by Desmond and nearly killed to show me that, I'd presumed wrong. And I sort of wonder if I had just believed you, if maybe you wouldn't have been put in that situation. So, I'll have to live with that, but I am sorry for lying to you. I mean, doing the surveillance on the building and everything was something I wanted to do, but really it was just a ruse. I was using it to try and know where you were going and figure out when you were meeting with Desmond.
Well, I guess you said it best. Don't trust anyone. I'm not mad at you. A little perturbed that you would think that I would be that kind of person, but living the life you lived, I can imagine how you would think that. But know that I will never purposely lie to you, to any member of the Coterie.
Yeah. I'll try to do the same.
Well, then I think we can work on equal terms.
Yeah.
Well, hell. We just became best friends. Look at that. Glad to have you in my corner.
And at that, Hannibal will sort of awkwardly just continue driving to the Coterie Haven.
Yes, Charlie.
We have a moment to speak to Lillith before we get to the
Yeah, sure. We'll see that you guys are arriving, and you guys have a short conversation. Or yeah, that'd be more sure. You walk in basically, and walk downstairs. You see Deacon and Mitch, but like Deacon's like, hey, and goes back to say, see, Shark Week. It's amazing. Just watch. Oh, look at that. And Mitch is just like, dude, shut up. And then you guys find some space downstairs.
kind of wanted to see about having Deacon sit in on the conversation tonight.
Which
But I
one?
also wanted to have another conversation with you. Something I've been thinking about for a while now. You and Hannibal seem to be at cross places. And I'm not sure to help that because, well, to be fair, I haven't taken the time to ask you where your head's at.
And I gave it a lot of thought, and Deacon helped me see what needed to be seen. Emily wasn't going to survive her attack, and Hannibal was right. I didn't know there was levels to... I didn't want to hear that there was levels to this bond. I guess I looked at it as enslavement. But no, I plan on apologizing to him on that, but I won't apologize for him basically accusing Herkermer of being involved, because we're supposed to trust each other.
As far as his initial suspicions, I guess it's natural for someone who is on the fringes to go with their gut instinct. And when all evidence points to the fact that none of that happened before Herkermer became involved, that would be a very easy conclusion to come to.
That's agreeable. That's true. I guess that's fair.
I think the fact that little effort was put into that investigation on his side, other than just looking at the facts at face value, that was the short sight. And I think that conversation needs to be between him and Herkermer.
That's true.
I plan on letting all of them know what happened in the conversations between myself and everybody else that we've spoken to tonight.
Well, yeah, obviously we need to get all of our information together. Do we want Mitch sitting in on our conversations as well?
Hell no. Mitch is brand new, barely holding it together.
Yeah, that's fair.
You want to add this fucked it upness on top of that? No.
Well, he's got like brand new human perspective, you know? I mean,
He's
I figure he's got to
attached
live
to
here.
everything on a certain level that I don't think he's willing to detach himself from. I hate to say it, but our mutual friend is part of why he's where he's at. And I don't know what he would do if he were to draw those same conclusions. I don't know how he would feel about that. He's not in a state of accepting anything, much less in a healthy way, understanding or emotionally stable enough to handle that kind of information.
And you want Deacon to sit in on our meetings then? Or on this meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think Deacon so far, from what I've heard, he's been insightful. At least to me, he's been nothing but polite. I think he has a certain amount of insider knowledge that will help. And if I'm being extremely blunt and honest, I identify with him more than anyone.
Are we sure he's not maybe a liability because of his sire?
I don't think he'll be a liability. And if he becomes a liability, then it just proves who we can and cannot trust. Honestly, we're in a place where we're testing the waters with everyone we meet.
Okay.
I wanted to
go-
get your 2 cents.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think me and Hannibal are gonna be good. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll go get... You want to go get Deacon?
Yeah, I'll go get him.
All right.
So you walk up to where Deacon's sitting, and I'll say right about that time is a good time that Herkermer and Hannibal can also come in, if you want. He's like, "Yep." What do you say to Deacon, Charlie?
Hey, Deacon, do you mind if I steal a moment of your time?
Yeah, sure, dude. Stay on Shark Week. I'm telling you. And bitch is like, yeah, Shark Week. And then as soon as you get up, he gets up and walks out, with you. And it just as Hannibal and Herkermer are coming in through the front door, basically, Mitch is turning it to Doctor Who. Like, yeah, what'd you need, man? Oh, hey, what's up, Hannibal?
We have some stuff to discuss, and we'd like you to be a part of it.
Sure. He kind of looks up, Charlie to Hannibal to Herkermer. He's like, okay. Sure. Lead the way.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Lillith, what's up?
I'm Mitch. How you doing, man?
Just doing. The dude has like no taste in television.
What are you talking about? He was watching Doctor Who.
Don't even get me started on that. Yeah, anyway, so like I'm sure
So
we're gonna take a seat.
I wanted to start off by apologizing to Hannibal. You were right. I spoke with Deacon and had a conversation about Emily. Well, not particularly about Emily, but about the situation and the fact that you did indeed save her life. I overreacted. There's a lot of levels to this, and I apologize for it. There was better ways to handle it. And just a few moments ago, Charlie helped me realize that your suspicions of Herkermer, while not warranted, were an assumption that would have easily been gotten from the evidence. So, and thank you for, even though it wasn't my life that was in danger, but saving Herkimer's life.
On life.
On life. Thank you.
No problem.
I had a conversation tonight with the Ventrue who live here, trying to figure out pieces of the puzzle, as it were. I don't know why or how we ended up at the club, but after talking with Krieg, I couldn't escape this feeling of grime, I don't know, I felt dirty after talking to him. Found out some more information. While people here are factionalized, split off into basically the people who are willing to work for themselves only and the people who have ideals and ambitions above that. Krieg is one of those people who only works for himself, and by word of so many, he can't be trusted further than his own ambition. His word is not his bond, and I don't feel comfortable working with him. I think that was a determination that I needed to make after talking to him, though. Because I needed to find out, for my own, at least as far as I could, who Krieg was. If the Red Queen's statements about her detesting him were valid, I think that they are. To that end, I'd made known to my clan, members of the clan here, and to Lillith, and now to you, my intention, my goal is to try and repair whatever damage has been done preemptively to my relationship with the Red Queen. Whatever problems there are in the history of the people that I'm involved with and the people that she cared about, I want to settle it. Try to make things right. As long as she has this hatred towards me based on association, there'll always be bleed through to you guys. Like I said to Lillith, it's a self-serving endeavor, but it also helps you guys if it works. We did manage to find a Tremere, kind of in a roundabout way. It was through the meeting with members of my clan. They might be able to verify, or they had said that they would be able to verify Mitch's clan, or Sire, lineage, however they go about doing that. They did also ask questions about the Sabbat. And seeing as we have no idea what's down there, privately, myself and Lillith asked this individual what might be within the old prince's haven that would be of importance. They shared that we should be looking for a specific object, and if we find it, do not disturb it. Apparently this object is very dangerous. I'm not sure what it's used for.
I also wanted to address that she said not to trust our cell phones. And I was thinking maybe to meet, we should start carrying around. Do they still make beepers?
Paging devices?
I imagine they do somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I propose that maybe we should start doing that or something.
All the old kindred are afraid of technology. They're afraid that it's phones and things that would lead hunters to them. And although I see the point you're making, there are other methods we could do to be able to stay in contact with one another. The reason I have the burner phones is because I end up transitioning through them. So we could start doing something like that, right? Because if we're always swapping the number, then it's hard for someone to know what number we're using and track it. And when we're done with the phones, we completely destroy them somewhere else, right? So it doesn't leave any trace. But if you have a personal phone tied to your identity, then that's bad, generally.
Well, the only personal phone that I have tied to my identity is the one at work.
Sure.
Yeah, I generally you gotta be careful what you. I kind of like use a kind of slightly opposite way. I use burner phones and things like that for anything I discuss. I have my own phone, which I don't ever bring anywhere around anywhere because, they talk about like putting, co-opting Siri to listen in on you and shit like that. But I if you're gonna keep a social presence, like you have to for business or anything like that, make it to where you're never seen directly, like it's, I would maybe even think about if you have somebody who you trust who's really savvy with doing social media stuff, like keep up an active social media thing off of your phone. So, basically it's kind of like hiding in plain sight sort of idea, that's just saying. I generally don't go out in front of concerts. That's the reason why I quit my band, is publicity. But now I work as a producer and nobody ever really pays attention to small-time producers. So as long as I don't take on a record contract, or if I pass one off or let them be get out from under the contract to a bigger production studio, that kind of thing. But yeah, older kindred don't like technology. Sylvia hates it. She refuses to even have one or communicate. She does everything in personal or by messenger. So
I would almost think that in this day and age, it's starting to become irregular for people not to have such technology.
And yeah, but like a lot of the older kindred, that's how they survived back in the way back in the day when people were hunting them. They just kind of reverted to the old ways of, I mean, in the tower at least, they kind of use, it's kind of like old trade craft. It's what they know, you know. And to a degree, it kind of works staying off the grid like they are.
To a degree, yeah. I think about
Or do you want to tell them about where we went?
I was actually going to leave that to you.
Or why don't you?
All right. Hannibal and I went and checked out a warehouse where Carlo's guys were working. Or at least the place that Carlo told us about. Went in there, talked to him. There's a bunch of thin bloods in there. They're doing alchemical stuff. Carlo had asked them to make something to spike their dolls with. Spike his dolls with. Which they did make, and Desmond stole some of it. And more than likely that's what happened to Betty. Is Desmond doped her up, and Grayson got the end of it. That's the kind of stuff that was in the bags that you and I drank, Lillith. That was some of it. We made them an offer to move somewhere into the Coterie's territory, into our patch somewhere, in order to provide them with protection, because like Carlo may be trying to clean house, clean up loose ends, that sort of thing.
Why?
Because Carlo was the one that initially had the juice made.
But if this juice is destructive to his clientele... Wait, are you saying that he's intending to weaponize it?
It's the fear, is that he may be intending to weaponize it, use it against his enemies or whoever. And so if he's cleaning house, that means that he's cleaning house so that it can't lead back to him.
What do you want to do with this information?
My fear is that if Desmond didn't just steal it, if Desmond had the recipe, and Desmond reveals that to the Red Queen, that might mean the Red Queen now has the recipe to do with it as they see fit. Which at this point... Oh, what's up, Herkermer?
I was waiting for an opportune time.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Herkermer is pulling out Desmond's notebook, and he is looking through it feverishly, trying to find any kind of recipe that says it'll do this sort of thing.
You flip through the notebook. He basically pulls out one of those just normal like college rule notebooks, wire binder notebooks, and opens it up. It has kind of the semi-hard sort of like exterior that like something like this might have, right? But in between it is like all kinds of like newspaper clippings and with stuff written on it, and sticky notes that have been like lined and with Scotch tape. So
it's like a cookbook that's been in someone's family for like a long time or something.
Exactly. It's like this. Yeah. It's like bursting open when he opens it up because there's so much stuff, and it looks like it's more of a craft piece than anything. But as you look through it, you see the different recipes. He was quite an accomplished alchemist by the looks of it, with levels much higher than your own. But you notice that there is one recipe towards the back that is basically folds out into several like basically legal sized papers, with things like hectically scratched on it. At the top of it, it says "the juice." It's a very long and complicated formula. It requires a level 5 alchemist to complete, just the in-game mechanics terms. So it's well above your abilities.
Well above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Found it.
So it's in there.
It's in here.
So we don't know if Desmond remembers potentially how to make it from memory or not, but
Something this complicated, I doubt it.
I think we should bury that.
Can we bury just this recipe?
That's what I meant mostly, was that recipe.
Oh. Herkermer will take it out of the book without destroying any of the other bits as best he can.
Sure.
He'll fold it up and he'll hand it over to Hannibal.
And we'll take it and fold it up, maybe look for like a container for it, like one of those, eventually maybe like a map container, something that's going to be waterproof, a sealed
You could find
map container like you use for outdoor sort of stuff.
Since you originally had bought in a lot of stuff for office work, because the front of this place is sort of an office area. We could say that you have one of those like secure folders that are like leather exterior with a zip, a good zip lock, and
I mean that'll work for now. But I'm literally looking for something so I can literally bury this, so I can so I'm gonna put it inside of one of those like waterproof containers that you use for like water adventures or things, and then the plan is to literally bury it somewhere and hide it.
What? Oh, you're hiding it. I was going to ask, why didn't you just burn it?
I mean, we could, but would we rather have this as a bargaining chip at some point in the future? Or
if I get schooled enough, I can learn how to reverse it just in case someone else figures it out.
I mean, that's
a big bargaining chip.
Well, at this point, we... Go ahead.
No, it's fine.
Pretty big bargaining chip for pretty big trouble if we ever get into it. And Herc's right.
I mean, I have a feeling that, depending upon the level of questioning the Red Queen is doing to Desmond, that this recipe may eventually become public knowledge. And if we are the only people that have the recipe, that becomes very valuable. And it also means that should we ever be put in a situation where they try to force us to give it up, at that point we can just destroy it if need be.
At this point, Desmond's like, yeah, I would bury that. And, are we, like, I wouldn't let, are you sure that the Alice isn't gonna do anything with that? I mean, she has a dire hatred. Now, if that's, all it takes is one person who can make that stuff, if Desmond does remember, and I mean, she's been looking away to settle even the odds against the tower for a long time.
That's what I'm saying, and I don't necessarily want to give her the ammo to do that.
If she finds out that you have it, though, that could be even worse. Just saying. Not that I would tell her at all. Like, seriously. I don't want that heat. Fuck that. I already owe her, like, a shit ton of fucking vitae. Yeah, that's heavy shit.
I think for now, just hiding it, burying it, is probably the best course. And should we need to readdress it, we can readdress it in the future. Right, everybody good with that? Is everybody good with the idea of the Thin Bloods coming moving into our territory, since they're the only other people that know about the recipe and know how to make it?
Yeah, it's a smart move.
It was
Protection.
suggested. Yeah, it was suggested because Carlo obviously knows that they can make it. And they have it. And,
do we have any reason to suspect that Carlo might be hostile towards them, other than just this general gut feeling?
Based on what Carlo told me, there was not to say an insinuation, but the sort of vibe that I got was that he was trying to paint them out to be involved with Desmond and everything that went on. So, getting a vibe that Carlo had thought that I would perhaps allow things to escalate, because they already don't like full bloods, and so there was an easy opportunity that it could have escalated out of control if Herkermer hadn't been there to basically bridge the gap, in a sense.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd trust that, honestly. Like, Carlo's a weird dude. And you can't really get a good read off of him, like most Malkavians. But, he definitely has his agenda. He's been trying to edge his way in on fucking Krieg's shit for a long time. I mean, they go back and forth, honestly. It's kind of like a, we'll deal here and I'll fuck you over there. It's sort of friendly rivalry sort of weird thing, but yeah, there's a lot of weird politics that go on with the indulgence, and if he has enough ammo to kind of edge in on Krieg's business, because Krieg is the dominant one out of that group. But if Carlo has...
It sounded to me like he was more interested in edging in on Smokes Malone's business. He tried implying to me that Smokes Malone was breaking the Masquerade and doing fucked up shit. And I said, well, Smokes is a part of my Coterie's territory. So unless you can prove to me that he's broken the Masquerade and done these things you're implying he has, you know, at that point we can talk.
I think, well, a lot of people don't really like Smoke's advertising feeding areas because of hunters. So I guess I can kind of see where he's coming from with that, but like, and I've told you that I don't agree with the way he treats people.
It's not the reasons that he said.
But yeah, I mean...
He said he was a competitor. That's very different than saying he doesn't like the way that the guy does business.
Smokes ain't shit. Like, I mean, in all honesty, the guy will talk himself up, but he really is small beans. I'm serious. He's been dying for, like, I mean, Cole basically really only accepted him in because of who his sire is. Because he has connections in the tower still, and he's Nosferatu.
I have a feeling that Smokes has some things on the side going on. And those things, now that he has freedom and the space to breathe, in a sense, are only getting bigger and bigger, is my thought. I'm not saying they're necessarily bad, but when he now has space to make whatever decision he wants for the sake of his own business, there might be more side hustle going on, which perhaps is what Carlo is worried about.
Yeah, I mean,
Perhaps it's also time to check in on Smokes Malone.
Yeah, I stopped by there a week or two ago, and I didn't stay there for very long. They definitely seems to have something going on. The other Grayson was there, and there are some other people there. I mean, like, it seems like he's gotten some business that people are feeding there, at least. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Cole basically kept him under his boot. And then when he started edging in on the hospital, Cole kicked him out of the Coterie and kind of edged him out of all the business, the rest of the territory. So I could see what you're saying.
Yeah, if people want to stop by and check in on Malone, that's fine. I would say there's a perfect excuse of saying you're there to pick up Grace and you just wanted to check in, see how things are going, see how, it's working out for him. It's because we've left Grayson over there quite a bit now, and I know we talked about bringing Grayson over here, so I figure it's about time to do that. Plus, Grayson, having been around Smokes, could probably give us a little more information on perhaps what he's seen while he was there.
Yeah, I can go run an errand for it. I can go, snag him so you guys can, yank him, talk to him. I don't know Grayson that well. I know he's older than me. He's older than most Anarchs. Not as old as Dutch, obviously, but... yeah, I could just go, say, hey, you guys, want to talk to you. Do that. Best to know what's going on there before you walk in on it, you know what I mean? That way, at least if there's something
perhaps I don't want to put you in a situation where you start trying to suss out what's going on and then you get put in a bad situation, though.
I don't think that Smokes really has an issue with me. He knows that I was kind of in the same situation that he was. I think he always tries pitching band ideas to me. I want to produce records made by druggy street kids. Seriously. Guy's a weird dude, but I don't think he'll be sus or anything. And it's better to probably know what's going on before you walk in on it, because it is Smokes we're talking about. He's a weird dude.
Yeah, I think we can all appreciate how unusual Smokes is.
Anything else on the agenda?
I did want to ask your opinion specifically.
On
a separate matter, I wanted to speak to the Red Queen. The deal that Krieg put on the table.
You'll have to tell me what it is, because remember, I chose not to go talk to him.
Yeah. So to let you in on what I've been working on within the hospital. I create synthetic blood. I've created a formula for a synthetic blood that allows me to replace a certain percentage. Now, at first, when we were developing the synthetic blood, it was a very small percentage. But as I keep refining the idea, we're getting to a bigger percentage that the synthetic can replace. What I've been doing with the synthetic is creating stores of it on my own. Taking whole blood, which is to say fresh blood that's been harvested, donated to the hospital. We remove a percentage of that for ourselves, skimming off the top.
Can I just be real with you real quick here, Charlie? You lost me with the lecture on the science of all this blood and stuff. Can we sort of focus in on the point here? Because I'm already confused. So you can make fake blood, is what you're saying, or portions of fake blood. Okay, so I'm with you, at least insofar as I know that you're talking about you can make fake blood. Okay, so
so we can make fake blood, but we can't ingest it. But it is usable to replenish stores. Basically, we can take some without it being noticed. The more I refine it, the more blood that we can take. However, it's at a stage where I'm at a bit of a brick wall. The deal was put on the table that we put a certain amount of blood out there as a rack. I don't necessarily know what that means. From what I understand, that's like a free bar, a vampire buffet. That's
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, that's
I
what a
don't-
rack is. Yeah, it's
Okay.
called a rack. It basically, Smokes Malone's place is a rack. It's a place where kindred can come and feed if they need to.
Okay. The idea was to create a rack. That's what Krieg suggested, but he wants to do it using the hospital's resources. I don't know what we would benefit from that, other than a temporary fleeting friendship with Krieg, but honestly, that guy he makes me feel like I need to take a shower after talking to him. I don't like it.
Why?
I'd rather
Like-
go talk to Smokes Malone.
Like, what did he say that made you feel that way?
Everything. It was the way that he talked. Like the most grimy car salesman.
Barada told me, that he used the word ally. Let's put it that way.
Juan,
Brought as your sire, right?
You talking to your sire?
Yeah, that's, I thought I mentioned that, sorry. Yeah, he was in my kitchen, and right before we went to go meet Krieg, that's who actually directed me to him.
Oh.
Did you ask him about the bird?
He said the bird's not his.
Oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. I told the bird to go find Barada for me because I wanted to ask your sire what generation he was. But I ended up finding that out from Carlo anyway. So
What generation is he?
he's an Ancilla, which means that Mitch can't be your kid.
Why not?
Because if your sire's an Ancilla, that makes you a neonate, which would mean that your kid would be a neonate. They would be a full blood.
Okay,
So
good.
Mitch being a thin blood means that he can't be your kid. He might be bloodbound to you because you did feed him your blood, but otherwise, from what I understand, he can't be your kid.
But it was only once.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes sometimes.
yeah, it's usually pretty weak, but it's
Yeah, it's the levels, right? There's the levels, right?
it's kind of like a crush.
Yeah. Now think of how Emily was about me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where she was like, hey, like wanted to go on a date or something, right? Think of it like like a crush. Yeah, that's actually probably the best way to put it. So, Mitch might have kind of a crush on you. Weirdly, because he's still getting over his ex, but still.
Yeah.
You had something to say, didn't you, Deacon?
Yeah, I just wanted to know what Barada sounded like. I've heard stories about the dude, and I've never heard about him speaking. In fact, that's what his kind of thing is. He's like, I guess, quiet, really creepy, quiet, gay girl guy. I didn't know he was your sire.
Yeah, apparently so.
That's really interesting. He was I never interacted with the guy, but he was one of the guys that like the tower hated because he was going around killing people a lot. Supposedly like some sort of diehard, like revolutionary or something. Yeah.
So I should probably tell people I don't know who my sire is if I ever go on the other side of the river, huh?
Probably not, especially my sire.
Okay.
One of her broodmates was executed by him. So, I mean, she ain't gonna hear shit from me.
Okay.
And I don't imagine she'll. I mean, holding it against you takes on a different context with her, but I don't think that she'll like pursue anything. Because she'll probably just.
Honestly, it might keep people from fucking with you, Lilith. Because if they know you're Barada's kid, they won't want to fuck with you. Because then that means Barada will come after them.
Most people, yes. That will absolutely true.
Yeah, I'm not speaking to your sires.
Yeah.
I just meant in general. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. I could totally agree. And most people will not fuck with your sire. You're the daughter of a badass now.
I don't want to use his name as a shield.
Nobody's saying you have to.
Well, that was the suggestion.
Sometimes you do. I'm not saying it's something you should do all the time. I'm just saying if you ever put into a bad situation and you have no out, just, remember that, because that might be your out.
Okay.
I mean, for
We're
example,
saving that
Charlie,
for a rainy day.
Charlie on his way over here after shit happened to him literally got attacked in the streets, right? And that's like the child of a cam member, right? Because they may not have been afraid of the sire, or maybe they were, and that's why they went after him, right? So it's sort of a double-edged sword, right? People may be afraid of your sire, but you are right to sort of keep it close to the vest. That's why I'm saying, like only in certain situations, because if they know you're Brada's kid, they might then actually go after you. It's the same reason I don't mention my sires.
Guys were?
Still don't know to this day.
What was the question?
Oh, I was asking him if we knew who those guys that attacked me were. Question I hadn't even considered asking at the time.
They were mortals. I can tell you that.
Were they ghouls, do you think?
Perhaps.
Maybe. I don't know. Like ghouls take a long time to train. They usually don't send ghouls after just about anybody unless they're like want to make sure they're not gonna run or something like that, or so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we covered you talked to the Ventrue, and you two have made up, right? You two have made up.
I mean, I'd like to have a conversation with Lilith privately after this.
I was going to suggest that. I was just say you two need to, like, I can give you pillows and you guys can hit each other or whatever it is you're going to do.
I mean, I don't feel like I need to hit Lilith, but if she wants to hit me, I mean,
yeah. And then
but to finish up on the thing about the deal, why I want to talk to the Red Queen is potentially to offer her same thing. If you feel that it's a good idea. Honestly, I feel like we have more to gain by allying with the Red Queen than anybody else.
You want to offer her the same deal that Krieg was offering to you about the racks?
Yes.
Wasn't the whole thing that she doesn't want racks?
She doesn't want to maintain them, but if I offer to maintain them, then she doesn't have to worry so much about tithes, which takes a huge load off of her plate. You see how much taxes her.
Yeah, but she does it to keep people in line, right? It's a form of control. If they pay their tithe, that means they'll be loyal or afraid. If no one's paying a tithe, then that means no one's afraid.
Well, it's
I'm
also
saying-
it's also kind of the thing that it was, I guess, instituted because she had to institute him, but now she's relying on it, right? It keeps everybody in control and in check. But as soon as there's racks, then whoever supplies first will have the most advantage, and that probably won't be her.
Yeah, I
I'd like
think
to
if we went
offer
to
the chance to have that advantage.
Let's go. Hannibal was going to say something.
Yes.
no,
sorry.
Lilith can go ahead first. She was going to say something. I'll wait.
I want to know why Krieg was suggested as an ally. Maybe there's something going on with the Red Queen that we don't know, some inner workings or something. I don't know if it was a directive from Barada or if it was a suggestion or advice.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Part of why I wanted Hannibal to come with me for a discussion with the Red Queen, and obviously you two as well. I want to suss out what kind of person the Red Queen is. I want to see if all of us come together on this and we make a decision. I guess the point is I don't want to make a deal with someone who's going to screw us over. But this is something that has been apparently a point of contestation with a lot of the kindred in the area. And if it puts tensions at ease between myself and the Red Queen, it serves the purpose of strengthening our security in the area.
Can I offer an alternative suggestion?
Sure.
I mean, it's not without its problems. Again, I'm talking about some potentially serious problems.
All of our options have serious problems.
Are you familiar with the game of chess and the tactics that are used in it?
Yeah.
Do you understand the term of hanging a piece?
Not a chess whiz, but yes, I understand the term hanging a piece.
How would you feel if I did that to you? Let me explain more. Krieg and the Red Queen obviously have a problem with each other. We're trying to dive further in to figure out what the fuck the Red Queen is up to. The Red Queen has a problem with you, Charlie. She's not going to trust you, and coming to her with this information is not going to change how she feels. It may make her feel like she can manipulate you easier, but she's still not going to trust you. It's going to be the same thing. However, we could use her hate for you in order to prop someone else in our coterie to gain her trust. Myself, for example. We make it look like, in lesser words, that there's tension between you and me for some reason. Krieg gets mentioned, etc. Right, when we go and meet with the Red Queen. Maybe ask some questions about how she feels about Iraq, right? Like you're trying to suss it out. After doing so, you don't share the exact reasons why. You're just interested to know. Afterwards, I speak to the Red Queen privately, and I make it known to her that I'm pretty sure that you cut a deal with Krieg. I mean, we're in a perfect position to potentially make the Red Queen think that I don't trust you. We're a coterie that was forced together. We're not really friends, and we're only now really forming a bond. She hates your sire, and she wants to hate you. And so if we hang you, in a sense, making you out to be the bad person, we could prop someone else up to perhaps be pushed into her trust to figure out what the fuck she's up to. I've already laid the groundwork, this whole looking into Carla thing. Remember when I went off to talk to her? I told her that. I said, hey, I don't know how the rest of the Coterie feels, but I'll do this for you, even if they won't. My plan is that I have some very interesting information to share with her, should it ever come down to her questioning why I would be loyal to her. But it could put me in a bad position.
So
it's a gamble.
risking the potential of hanging you as well.
Yeah. We're using her hate for you and your sire in order to gain her trust. I wouldn't want to put Herkermer or Lillith in this position, because I don't know what's going to happen if it goes wrong. What happens if she doesn't believe them, that sort of thing.
So are we actually making the deal with Krieg?
No.
I mean, even if we don't make the deal with Krieg, just the idea that we're thinking about it is enough, right? Or the assumption that perhaps something was worked out. And, of course, that's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say you did make a deal with Krieg. I'm going to say, we got together. He wanted to talk to Krieg. He wanted me to come for backup because he wasn't sure what was going to happen. And they were up there talking for a long time, and they seemed to get along pretty well. And now he's talking about what would it look like to open up a rack and all this sort of stuff, right? If she doesn't like racks, she's going to get behind the idea of shutting it down. I mean, like I said, though, it's a gamble. It's a bluff. And it could pay out, and we could learn quite a bit. But one way or the other, if she finds out, we're all already on her shit list, right?
I'm going to be honest. I feel like we're way too small a fish to be using this little of a bait.
I mean, we have. It may not be something that happens immediately. The point is to lay the groundwork, right? To plant a seed of doubt now. To make her feel like perhaps she can trust me versus trusting you. No matter what, she's going to think that she can manipulate me, that she can control me, because I want to be accepted into her court, right?
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like making the deal with Krieg. Just to see where it goes.
I mean, if we did this, we could do both, right? Because we would have to in order to keep up the ruse. Rather than choosing between them.
Yeah.
Because if we choose between them, the moment we choose one, the other one comes after us, right?
The problem still remains at the current time that we're not in a position to actually make that deal.
What do you mean?
The blood replacement.
I mean, she doesn't know that.
So if we make the deal, there has to be a rack, which means that we have to be feeding kindred.
Like I'm saying, we don't actually have to follow through on the Krieg deal. I'm just saying all that would have to be done to suss out what's going on with the Red Queen, what she knows, what she's connected to, what she's got going on the side, what her plans are, etc., which is what people have said that they're worried about, is to plant a seed of doubt so that she'll bring one of us into her trust, right? So even if we don't actually follow through on the rack idea, even if you don't build up the stock, even if you don't do all these things, all we have to do is make it look like you're planning to. I mean, that's enough to cast that seed, right?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't like that idea. It makes a lot more sense than mine, but I really don't like that idea.
Well, I mean, I'm worried about her finding out from Desmond about the thing. I'm worried about her potentially using that to weaponize and kill all of the Camarilla or all of the Anarchs. Who knows who she considers an enemy? And if she had the means by which in one fell swoop to literally wipe every kindred out with no harm to the populace, because Betty was completely fine other than grace in attacking her, right? She could literally kill everyone, all the kindred.
That also means a lot of human dead.
Why human dead?
Frenzy.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, yeah.
I don't understand why we're trying to play the Red Queen.
I'm not trying to play the Red Queen. I'm trying to settle tensions that have been long overdue. But this right here allows us to figure out if we can trust her as a potential ally in the future. That's what he's suggesting. The problem is that we have to paint me as the enemy in order to potentially make that plan work.
She already thinks you're the enemy, though, right?
She wants me to be the enemy.
Yeah.
It's not that she thinks I'm the enemy. She knows I'm not. She knows I'm small fries.
Sure.
She wants me to be the enemy. She wants someone to hunt. She wants someone to take her aggression out on.
Yeah. That's why it's so easy, right? We give her the opportunity to. It's just an idea. We should think it over. We obviously shouldn't make a decision right now. Everybody should give it, some nights or whatever. Think it over. See how you feel about it.
I'm going to be honest.
Go ahead.
I don't like it. But it makes sense. And if all of you come to agreeance on it, I will go along with it.
I'm just going to say, though, even if it's the intention, I don't want you to come to harm, Charlie. And I'll do everything I can to keep that from happening. And whether you feel like we're small fish or not, I mean, sure we are. But the problem is, I don't trust anyone in this territory, on the east side or the west side. The only person, the only kindred that I know that I can trust is one of the most, sometimes one of the most evil people I have ever known, and one of the most good. And so based on their whim, we'll determine what happens that day, or what they do. I don't like everything I've heard about the Red Queen. I don't like everything that everybody worries about. And I don't like the sort of tension that we've been put under. It's pretty obvious to me that the reason we were given this territory, if it isn't obvious to the rest of you, is because the Red Queen was trying to piss someone else off. She's going to use us as a scapegoat at some point. She's going to use the fact that she dislikes your sire, Charlie, against you, and who knows what will happen. I'm just saying that the Red Queen could very easily become our enemy in a moment. And so we need to prepare for that eventuality.
Maybe that's what Barada was preparing me for.
Yeah, maybe. I heard Deacon clear his throat.
Yeah, he's like, look, I'm just here for the ride, because, whatever decision and way you guys go, I'll back, if anything else, because I really don't have anywhere else to go that, doesn't spell out a worse situation for me. I do know that when she gave the territory originally to Cole, it was only because he was from the Cam, and he was coming in with Ash and their crew, all the other camarilla, and she needed the support. The fact that she gave away... This is one of the most valuable patches in the entire city. The sheer amount of access to Vitae in a time where people aren't really willing to go out and dig wells and be in racks because there might be hunters around. I mean, that's power. That's a lot of power. That's power over Alice, and that's power over the prince. All it takes is one big hunter strike. Everybody goes to ground. No one has anywhere to feed. No one could go outside. And these elders are terrified of that. I was raised on myths about how my sire's sire had to flee from humans with pitchforks and torches. How they would burn people at the stake and drag them out into the sun. The entire camarilla is based on that idea. Is hiding from humans because they, at one point in time, they found out that we existed. So these types of resources, that's why the camp takes its domain so seriously. It's not so they don't fight each other or they have a reason to all get along. It's so they can all carve out territory just in case. So they all have a means of survival. And Alice just ups and gives you one of the most valuable, if not the most valuable spot in the entire domain.
Yeah, that's what's been bothering me, is why. Especially when she's made it so apparently clear how much she dislikes Charlie's sire. She may not know shit about me, or she may know all about me. I don't know. She may not know a whole lot about Lillith, but perhaps she does know that Barada is your sire. And I don't even know what she knows now, especially now that she has Desmond, what she knows about Herkermer.
She knows Barada is my sire.
There you go. That's what I'm saying, is that either the Red Queen will eventually paint a target on her back for the rest, or she's using us. I mean, there's so many possible situations that it could be. It could be that she wants to paint that target on our back so that people, try to take the territory from us, try to push us out, like we saw with the whole Victor Ashe thing and Krieg's territory, right?
Yeah.
Like, what happens if a bunch of young kindred are put into a situation where all of a sudden we have a bunch of older Ancilla elders, etc., muscling in on us? What the fuck do? We just buckle, right? I don't know what her intentions are, but that's what bothers me about it, and that's why I want to figure it out, because I don't like not knowing how and why I'm being manipulated, because it's very obviously a manipulation.
Yeah, that's one thing I did admit it. Sylvia always taught me right off the bat is you got to know your battlefield. She taught me when you walk into a room, make it your firstmost thing to understand who every single person is. Know them better than yourself. Know when they smile, when they laugh, what they love, what they hate. Especially since we can now disguise each other as other people. Some of us can. And sussing her out is I see why you want to do that. I agree with you. I'm a little. It's a lot of pain there, but I know that anybody else, you guys got to. I think no matter what, you guys need to figure out what's going on. Figure out where the players are. Figure out who. And if you need me to help, I mean, I don't know very many people here, but I know about them a little bit here. Things, rumors mostly. I'm certainly, I could certainly go and find out things for you if you need to. I get around with the club circuit on the scene on this side of town. But you guys need to figure out what's going on. That's for sure. Because sooner or later, if it's not Alice or anybody else, somebody's going to come at you. Come at you hard.
And if someone else is painting a target on our back, I would rather know why. You know, even if I don't know when it's going to happen, I would rather know why it's happening. But yeah, I mean, we've been chatting for a while. I had some stuff I had to do, but I kind of want to chat with Lillith before I take off, if that's okay.
Yeah, Charlie, let me show you the beauties of Shark Week.
All right.
Did you know Herkermer was telling me that he can make like really good drinks? Like he wanted to become a bartender once or something. Come on, Herkermer. Let's go so they can talk.
Yeah, take off.
He leads you upstairs and quickly switches the channel back over to Shark Week. When you see Mitch gets aggravated, Deacon looks over at you and he takes you off to the side and he's just like, I'm just doing it to keep him, like, I figure if like he has one person to be pissed off against, he's not going to be all mopey. Yeah, Herkermer.
Since I have the time, rather than hanging out of the TV, I'm going to go back to my lab and make a concoction of Eyes of the Beast.
Okay, give me a rouse check. Yeah. So for the distillation of that.
I succeed.
Oh, good for you. We will go back to... And that we leave, as they leave, they go upstairs. Lillith and Hannibal are left alone.
I appreciate your apology, but I probably should have apologized as well. I was a little pissed at you about the way you've been, but I get it. It was, it was really big to apologize, especially in front of everybody. So, yeah, I'm sorry too. I just, if you can't tell already, I'm so used to just looking over my shoulder, I don't trust anyone. I don't even trust my own sire, and she's one of the only kindred I've been around with any sort of longevity. Just sort of gotten used to this for years now, right? It's like everybody's an enemy. Every situation's just another situation to try and kill me or manipulate me or something like that. So, sometimes I make bad decisions, seeing what I think is the end game, what's going to serve me or my agenda. And when I made the decision to help Emily, you're rightfully pissed about, what I did, because I didn't do it for the right reason. I didn't do it to save her life. I mean, yes, I did, but when I did it, at the time, I was so pissed. And I did it because I knew that I could control her. That I could figure out what was going on with Desmond, that I could prove to you guys that Herkermer was a liar. I could prove that I was right. But, it turns out I was only really right about one thing, and that was that Desmond was a piece of shit. And, but I wasn't right about Herkermer, I wasn't right about you, or Charlie, or any of it.
I mean, it's things that you learn as we go along, right? You ended up finding out what was important, and that was that Desmond was a piece of shit. And because you found that out, you were managed to save Herkermer. And yeah, I don't know. I'm trying hard not to trust people, and I'm finding myself trusting more and more. So I'm kind of having the opposite problem.
Yeah, I sort of having the same issue, I guess. I apologized to Herkermer about everything when him and I have been off doing stuff. I'd lied to him quite a bit. I'd used him to try and find Desmond. And, I know that earning your guys' trust, your real trust, not just your, we're in a coterie, so we should be friends or trust each other, because that's all bullshit, right? Like, what it's going to come down to is us actually proving to each other that we can trust one another. I mean, there's always going to be that voice in the back of our heads of like, can we really? I think if we understand each other's situation, though, it becomes easier. Your experience was a lot like mine when I was embraced. And from what it sounds like, Herkermer's was pretty similar, too. Put in a really shitty situation. The person that he trusted the most tried to kill him, basically. And,
Right.
I know what that feels like, so.
Well, if it matters, your saving of Emily inspired me to save Mitch, except I went too far, I guess. Or, well, no, I guess I didn't because it wasn't my child.
Yeah. I mean, even if he had been, and even if somehow he still is, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, technically Charlie knows, but I don't talk about my clan because my sire is kind of an important person on the west side, somewhat. And I don't talk about my clan because I don't want people to know that I'm her child. You guys have already had a run-in with her. Irina?
That's frightening.
Yeah, she's the one that killed the mortal. She believes that she was helping Herkermer because she doesn't think that he was capable of doing it. She believes I also would have done the same, and, in a lot of ways she's right, I probably would have. I guess, to sort of finish up with my whole thing here is that for as much as you're learning from the rest of us, I feel like I'm kind of learning from the rest of you too, right? Like I've been in this just shitty situation for years, and I sort of forgot what it was like to have people that might actually care about someone else, or care about their friends, or like you care about Emily. That's just, it's foreign to me, right? It's about what you can do with them or use them for, what they'll gain for you. So all I'm saying is sure, I'm gonna fuck up, and I'll probably keep fucking up, honestly, because it's just kind of part of who I am, really. But just don't feel bad when you point out that I fucked up, because having someone there to remind me of these things, with the Emily situation, without that conscience, I would just become more and more monstrous, right?
I'll try to be more gentle when I do it.
Hey, you're a gang girl, I get it. But yeah, I gotta go do a thing, so
All
thanks
right.
for talking to me.
Yeah.
And Hannibal will leave.
And Lilith will go upstairs to Shark Week.
Gonna bring this to an end, but before we do, Okay, well, before we do, Herkermer, yes.
I was waiting until just meh. While cooking, I would like to try and heal one of my 2 remaining ag.
Give me 3 rouse checks. Roll one. Well, roll 1 rouse check 3 times.
I succeeded twice.
Did you fail the 3rd?
I did.
Then you go up a hunger. But you still heal the ag. I just want to point that out. You, no matter what, you do heal the ag.
Cuckoo.
Because when you're healing, it's just to see whether or not your beast goes up. Or your hunger level. So you're now at hunger 4. Which you were at... I accidentally wrote a 3 back where I should have written a 2. So you're back to 3. Right? Okay, correct. Just making sure. So you go to heal the damage, Herkermer, and you feel your beast rise. And then almost like you find yourself gritting your teeth as you hear a vibration go off in your pocket. And you pull out your phone. And you have a text from Johnny. It says, "They're all dead." And that's where we're leaving it tonight. Thank you so much for showing up.
What?